Danielle Smith's Alberta government has rewritten its school book ban policy after school boards and critics rightfully pointed out that the previous one was a giant mess that would result in classic authors like Margaret Atwood and Maia Angelou being pulled from school shelves. So there's a new policy that Education and Childcare Minister Demetrios Nicolaides says is meant to prevent misunderstanding and misinterpretation. But let's be clear, it's still a mess. And the new policy is still taking aim specifically at comics and graphic novels for LGBTQ+ young people. Let's break it down. Today, the Alberta government announced that the school library standards policy would be amended to only include visual depictions of explicit sexual content, not written ones. Which means Premier Danielle Smith's favorite Ayn Rand is safe.
I didn't read Atlas Shrugged until I was 22. I had a friend in grade 10 who read it. Maybe we should make it mandatory reading in high school.
But queer comics and graphic novels like Maia Kobabe's Genderqueer and Alison Bechdel's Fun Home will still be removed from school library shelves. This new order also doesn't just apply to school library materials anymore, but everything in schools and classrooms. Schools are still required to create and maintain lists of their school library materials that parents can access, and the implementation date has been bumped back to January from October. But the schools must let the government know what books they're removing by the end of October. It's all a lot, and like the previous order, it's still a mess. But how do we even get here? Earlier this year, the Alberta government announced that it would be engaging in public consultations around developing new school library standards, after 4 graphic novels containing what the government officials referred to as graphic content were reportedly discovered on Alberta school library shelves. Now, we know that that list of books called out by the government, and once again referenced in this new update to the book ban, was actually brought to Alberta Education Minister Demetrios Nicolaides by groups including Action for Canada, which has ties to Christian nationalism, the Freedom Convoy, and anti-queer and trans advocacy. It wasn't just like genuine concerned parents. And unsurprisingly, 3 of those 4 books flagged by the government were graphic novels with LGBTQ++ themes. Maia Kobabe's Genderqueer, Alison Bechdel's Fun Home, and Mike Corrado's Flamer. So after these consultations and a big public survey this summer, Smith's government announced new library standards that included a blanket ban on explicit sexual content in school library books, and a requirement that schools publish a comprehensive list of their library books. It was called out by librarians, school boards, LGBTQ+ advocates, and parents for being draconian, functionally a book ban, and all kinds of bad. Then the school year rolled around, and the Edmonton Public School Board published a list of 200 books that would be pulled from school shelves under that policy, including Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale and Maia Angelou's I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. And Atwood herself even went so far as to pen a satirical short story calling out the government's censorship. In response, Smith's government called the Edmonton list vicious compliance, which did they mean malicious compliance? And announced that the previous ban would be paused because, no, they didn't mean it like that. So now here's a hastily thrown together new policy specifically calling out visual depictions, aka comics and graphic novels, not written word books, and also rephrasing a bunch of parts of the original order that people took issue with. In a news release, Nicolaides said that he is confident that the new standards are, quote, straightforward and easy to implement. We will see about that.